Okay, hello, and welcome to my video presentation for The Illusionist, 2010 film directed by Sylvain Chomet. It's a French-Scottish collaboration, so I'm going to talk a bit about my French background, my Scottish background, but I'm British, so this is the Scottish film. Released by Pathé and financed by Pathé and a couple of other companies too, but mainly Pathé. So background to the film, based on an original scenario written by Jacques Tati, who was a director and actor and mime artist. The title, The Illusionist, refers to the main character called Tati Chef, who's a magician in the 1950s. Tati Chef is the real name of Jacques Tati, and the two central characters, Tati Chef and Sophie, are modelled on Tati and his real-life daughter, Sophie. Chomet thinks that Tati wrote the script for his daughter. I think he felt guilty, said Chomet, that he spent too long away from his daughter when he was working, and that he missed something essential. The film's dedicated as well to Sophie. So production, Chomet set up a studio, Django Films, in Edinburgh, and because he fell in love with the city, and alongside Ink Digital, a studio based in Dundee, the animation was worked on by 80 animators from the UK and France. 32 of these were graduates from Duncan of Jordanstone College of Art and Design in Dundee. These students were responsible for digitising all drawings and colouring all characters, as well as in-betweening and clean-up. But initially Chomet struggled to get the animators to work on the film, saying a lot of animators, basically people who can draw, got scared by these wankers from Disney saying that 2D animation is dead, and that it was only going to be 3D and Pixar from now on. It's just typical shit by people in ties who don't know what they're talking about. But it did reflect the wider context for 2D films. Disney all but abandoned 2D following the release of 2011's Winnie the Pooh, and in 2013 said they're not going to be making any more 2D films. Winnie the Pooh grossed 33 million, but in neighbouring years, 2009 and 10, 3D films Bolt, Tangled and Toy Story 3 grossed 310, 590 and $1 billion worldwide. The Illusionist had a budget of 17 million and grossed 5.5 million, which wasn't enough to sustain the studio, Django Films, which disbanded. So the plot, if I haven't lost it, is it starts in a Paris music hall in the 1950s, and Tati Chef is not popular, so he goes away. He's fired basically, and then he goes to the UK to try again to make a success of his performance. But as you can see, he's contending against a really popular rock band and has the same issues. So he's working in kind of smaller functions, weddings, and all the while travelling up towards Scotland. And it's in Scotland that he meets Sophie, who's working as a waitress and a kind of barmaid, and who's kind of out of place as well. But he buys her she's like a cleaner as well, and to thank her for cleaning his room and such, he buys her a pair of red shoes. She then smuggles herself on board a boat, and they leave Edinburgh together. Sorry, they leave the island in Scotland that they were staying at together and head for Edinburgh. I'm talking really quickly. So in Edinburgh, Tati Chef tries to get odd jobs to kind of sustain their livelihoods, both in Edinburgh, while Sophie just kind of wanders around and just enjoys herself, basically. And all the entertainers that they're staying with in Edinburgh are struggling as well as Tati Chef, and they can't really make a living. So eventually Sophie meets the man of her dreams, I guess, and Tatishev becomes a bit more distant, and eventually he leaves because work is no good, and he leaves her a message saying magicians do not exist. I'm going to skip this next one. Yeah, but just to make sure you're all still awake. So yeah, the animation is traditional 2D, the cells were painted digitally, and also the vehicles were 3D animation. And also quite muted colours. You can see the difference in background art from a Ghibli film at the bottom and this film, which I think kind of reflects the Scottish landscape. And you can see, yeah, romantic painters, landscape painters on the right. And I think, yeah, there's some inspiration from that, because the landscapes in the movie are so important, the backgrounds are so kind of essential. The character designs are, yeah, similar, I think, to British kind of cartoonists, caricaturists, especially kind of Ronald Searle on the right in the middle there, and also, what's his name, Gerald Scarfe as well, but not quite as extreme as Gerald Scarfe, really. Yeah, but Sophie is a bit closer to maybe character designs of kind of modern Disney, maybe, a bit like Glenn Keane's character designs. So yeah, the film's kind of a love letter to Edinburgh. You can see a lot of people have said this about it, and you can see from the backgrounds. So the camera angles used in this, it's mainly establishing shots, actually. Even in scenes with just one or two characters talking, and this makes a feature of the artwork and the scenery. Yeah. So mainly you have shots of kind of even in rooms, you have the whole room, the whole kind of mise en scène takes in a lot, because it's important for the characters to kind of express themselves through gesture. And they can do that when they're in the whole shot, so you can see their legs and their arms moving at the same time. There's a few different shots, like point of view, some low angles, but it's mainly establishing shots. I'm gonna have to skip that unfortunately, just making sure everyone's still there. So the critical reception, yeah, it was good. Rotten Tomatoes 90%, Guardian blah blah blah, Empire blah blah blah, positive. Dr. Socks on Amazon says, sad, not a real tatty film, but still gave it 4 stars, so that's great. Thanks, Dr. Socks. So my impressions, yeah, is that it's a beautiful film to look at. Visuals are smooth and lush and detailed, and this is a film about details. Not just visual but emotional. It has to. I know I've gone over the time limit, but I'll try to be quick. Characters are exposed to their interaction with the environment and with each other, and thus the character designs themselves. The movements and actions are depicted with some caricature and exaggeration, which gives the element of a stage performance, really, which is similar to kind of gestural performance of silent film, Chaplin, Keaton, Lloyd. That's my alarm, which is a minute over 8 minutes. So yeah, the characters have a kind of a lostness about them, like toys from sort of 10 Christmases ago. And Tatyshev's craft, like his parenting of Sophie, in the end has kind of had its time. And this is what the real Tatty felt about being away from his daughter Sophie. And you kind of feel that. The movie is, it's quite sad. So yeah, very, 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 very quickly, musical interlude, because I wanted to play some of the music from the film. Okay, and the final frame is this. Is not this. Going as quick as I can. Okay, so I think we can say that I've finished my presentation now, and thank you so much for, yeah, that's the final shot. Thank you so much for your patience. Sorry for running over. Thank you, and goodbye.